Welcome to another Market Matters weekly video update. I'm Nicholas Forsyth, Director at Market Matters on a gloomy Sydney day. I'm joined again by James Gerrish. James, welcome.
Thanks, Nick.
James, we'll kick it off today with the market in general. A bit too-paced at the moment. We have made some moves in the portfolio recently, which are looking pretty good on a day like today. Just wanted to take us through current index view, whether we think 6,000 can be achieved short term, and just what the rationale is at the moment, given we're 94% invested, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. We've got a lot of money in the market at the moment, so we don't have a lot of room on a cash perspective. We're reasonably comfortable with that at the moment, but we are going to increase cash levels, as the index moves higher. So in respect to the index on the ASX 200, 5,800 given way. 5,900 could come into play pretty quickly. I think it's going to be more driven by what happens in the resource space, the growth sectors of the market, and some rotation into that yield play. So there's been a lot of money over the last 12 months come out of the yield play. We obviously saw the US Fed move last night, increase rates over in the US. Their guidance was a little bit more subdued than probably the market was positioned for. So they're guiding now to 2 rate hikes in 2000 and 2 more rate hikes in 2017 on top of the one that we've just had. The market was probably positioned for 3 more rate hikes. So it's an interesting juncture at the moment. You would have thought interest rates going higher, the US dollar should go higher, and US bond yield should go higher. That hasn't played out. It's been the opposite, and it's all around how traders were positioned prior to that move last night. Okay, and I guess the morning report this morning, we talked about stay long this current market. We've made a few portfolio moves recently. Bought a little bit of BHP, bought a little bit of Rio under sort of 60. It's having a really good day today. Also 2 Goldies, Evolution and Regis. Now, get a few calls, people that haven't actually bought the underlying stocks yet. They're just wondering whether they should still buy a smaller transaction in these stocks on a day like today, or wait for a down day, to get set in these kind of positions. Gold ETF was up 8% last night, which is not surprising because the US dollar came back a long way, US bond yields came back a long way. So look, my personal opinion, I'll be waiting for a down day, but we've already bought them, we're already there. So if you're buying things that are above the prices that we've bought them for, then you've got to, that's your individual decision, but you've got to be cognizant of the fact that the risk reward might change. So we've got levels in mind that we want to buy stocks. BHP Rio was a really good example of that. So we stood back when BHP was trading at $28, targeting 24 or around 24 as our buy level. And we were patient to see that play out. Now we've added it to the portfolio, and it's nice to see that it's bounced, but we're not adding to that position at this stage. We're comfortable with our 10% allocation in BHP and Rio. So case by case basis, but I'd hold off on gold today given the strong strength that we've seen. BHP, Rio, they're not as compelling now, but I still think they're going higher. Yeah,
if you wanted to buy something for the year, I guess you could still look at those 2, given we expect a move towards 70 on Rio and BHP a move up over 26, 27.
Yeah, exactly right. We're not, we're looking towards 30 on BHP, 70 on Rio, so there's still upside there. Whether or not you buy it today when the stocks are up strongly, or you wait till tomorrow to see if the stocks might be down, I don't know what the price will be tomorrow. So it's really hard to dictate on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, just want to finish on 2 stocks in the portfolio. Well, actually 3. I'll touch on a third. First of all, TPG, TPM, the ticker on that one. We talked about it in the video last week. Potentially something like a capital raising looming. We have put out a thing this morning saying get out of it above this price. Just, I guess, minimising our downside risk shorter term. Pretty smart move, I'd say. Also, as well, there's 2 other stocks in the portfolio that we're having a few questions about. Just wanted to touch on. First of all is Altium. We did cover it last week and said we're comfortable for now. Has anything changed there? And the other is Ramsay. Covered it pretty extensively in the afternoon note yesterday in regards to directors selling. But has anything changed there? And investors without exposure, could they be looking at Ramsay and also Altium for opportunities?
Okay, 3-part question. I'll tackle the first one. TPG, 2 risk factors ahead. So they report on Tuesday, first half 17 results. So that's a potential risk. We've then got on the 4th of April, we've got an auction for Spectrum. So that could be a potential risk. If TPG overbid for that. They've pretty much alluded to the fact they want to build a network here in Australia, so if they overbid for that, they'll need to raise capital. So that's a shorter term trade. So 2 risk factors were around the entry price that we paid for it. So in my view, you take it off the table, reassess after those events have taken place. Ramsay, I did cover it in the afternoon report yesterday. Directors selling, yes, that is that's a negative for the stock. I think the bigger overhang is the lack of institutional buying. Institutions are waiting for this large stake of Paul Ramsay's to wash through the market. Why would they go out there and buy on market if there's a large block trade coming? And it's a pretty difficult stock to get set in any volume. So look, Ramsay to me is a really high quality business. Their results were really good. This weakness is an opportunity, and if it goes further towards $60, we'll be buying or stepping up our allocation in it.
And is that probably, we're at 4% at the moment, would that be another 2 or 3%?
Happy, yeah, 6 or 7% depending on the weakness in the stock when we do it. So happy to go. We'd probably cap out at 7.5% in a stock like Ramsay or slightly below that level. Liquidity is the issue in Ramsay. In terms of Altium, yeah, love the stock, but it's a higher risk play. It's one of those high growth PE, high PE growth stocks, reasonably low liquidity. The market didn't take the report overly well, so from a longer term point of view, I think that'll be fine. My only concern around that is if we think the market's going to push up in the short term, that's great. It's really it's a low correlated stock to the index. It's a case where we're not selling it at 750 today. We're pricing 795 as our potential sell level in Altium. We've flagged that, so yeah, we're happy to hold it for now. We'd be selling it in the strength if that prevailed. Our cash levels are low, as you may mention, so we need to be conscious of reducing exposure to the market in the strength, and that's what we'll do. Okay,
just lastly, before we finish, Altium investor that's only got Altium, maybe 1 or 2 other stocks, portfolios positioned a little bit differently, fair bit of cash up the sleeve. Obviously not giving personal financial advice or anything here, but the thought processes would be a little bit different, wouldn't they, in terms of selling the stock at that level? They could potentially hold it for the longer term.
Oh, each individual can do whatever. We put out our portfolio, what we do in our portfolio. I'm not going to dictate what an individual investor should do, so that's an individual's decision. Our view is the stock, if it gets up closer to $8, we'll probably sell ours. An investor out there can do what they wish to do with theirs.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for another update, James, and thanks for everyone who's watching. Any questions, queries, comments, always call us on 1300 301 868, or conversely, you can always hit the reply button on this email and we'll call you individually, or conversely answer it in the Monday report.